All right, good evening, everyone. This is Charles with the Exodus Logistics Learning Center. Today we have our freight broker mentorship program, and we have the Alexanders here. There will be some others coming in. Um, the purpose of mentorship is to give you guys information, advise you on your next steps, certain things you can do in the workflow of either, in this case, a broker, in other cases, a dispatcher, or even a trucking company. But tonight we are um, speaking about brokering, being a freight broker, someone who arranges for the transportation of freight. Okay. And that's by procuring the freight from the customer and then getting an authorized motor carrier to transport and deliver that customer's freight to their customer. Okay. So in this process, the um, the Alexanders, in this case, spoke to a customer, a shipper, and they wanted them to quote. It wasn't necessarily a truckload, it was just one pallet. So, Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
they wanted you
Mhm.
so one pallet. Let me bring up my screen, my whiteboard screen here, and let's see.
Fine. Okay.
All right,
Oh, I can see your face there now.
whiteboard. See the whiteboard?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first thing you want to understand as a broker is whether, because they gave you one pallet, it wasn't a truckload, it was just one pallet of freight, right?
Right.
What,
Right.
whether it's a truckload or a pallet, you as a broker have to set a certain profit margin for your brokerage. What do I mean by that? Um, every load you move as a broker, people coming in now, every load that you move as a broker for the customer, you have to pay the carrier, right? A certain rate, and then you have to make your money from that. So
Right.
if a customer tenders you freight, hey Sharana,
Hi.
if a customer tenders you, and I'm writing these words down, if they tender you freight, that means they're going to give you a load, either a full truckload, or less than truckload, or what's called a partial, which is what you guys were dealing with just now recently, that one pallet. Um, that has a certain weight to it, right? A full truckload,
Yeah.
a full truckload usually takes up the full the trailer, 53-foot trailer, so many pallets, so much weight. Let's say 45,000 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Partial, let's say, or LTL, less than truckload, let's say it's half of that, half a full truckload, just for the sake of argument, 25,000. A partial could be one pallet. Let's say it's 1 ton, like 2,000 pounds, um, on one pallet, 2,000 pounds. In any case, your profit margin still is the same. So most brokers, most new brokers, when I say profit margin, the customer, they'll say, "Hey, we're going to pay you,
Okay.
we're going to pay you $3,000 to move this load. Let's say $2,000. We're going to tender you this load at $2,000 for you to move the load from
Uh-huh.
from A to B.
Right.
You pay the truck, depending on the distance, you pay the carrier 1,500 of that, according to the load board and the lane that load falls in. Okay, so the customer gives you 2,000, you pay the carrier 1,500 of it. How much of it is left for you, the brokerage?
Yeah. 500.
500, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, 500. So your profit margin, and as a percentage, your profit margin is 500 over 2,000, or 1/4, or 25%. Or let's
Right.
say most new brokers, their profit margin could be anywhere between 15 to 20% of the load tender. Okay. You with me so far?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that one pallet that they wanted you to move, what did they want that moved in? Did they want to put it in a box truck, a sprinter van, a cargo van?
Probably it's a 50 tree. You have to go into.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be a box truck.
Yeah, but so you got to figure one pallet though. It's just one pallet.
right.
Right.
It's just one palletized, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
right? One palletized piece of freight,
Right.
and it's
Yeah.
going one pallet. That's one pallet of freight. And
Hmm.
did they give you the weight of the freight of the pallet?
At the time, I don't remember. Yeah.
No, I don't think he did.
So that was mistake number one on the shipper's part. If they want you to quote something, they need to give you the weight. They need to give you the equipment type it needs to go in. They gave you the lane. Where was it picking up and going to, right? Where was it picking up from?
Parsippany, New Jersey,
Yeah.
going to Miami, Florida.
Okay, I don't know what city you just said, but
New Jersey, Parsippany.
can you spell that city's name, Persephone?
Yeah, Parsipanny, I believe.
Okay, we'll go with that. And it's going to Miami for one pallet. Now, another question is too, that one pallet of freight going from Jersey to Florida, can any other freight be loaded in the equipment type or the type of truck?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Sorry.
Mhm.
Can any, so is this, was this, did they tell you that this was an exclusive use,
No, I don't think he mentioned that it was like a
exclusive use?
dedicated,
Right, exclusive.
like a yeah.
If it was an exclusive use type of shipment, that means only this pallet could have been loaded on that truck or whatever the equipment type was used.
Right,
If it was
right,
not, then you could have put other freight on there to kind of fill up the equipment type to maximize the space and make more money.
right. Yeah, I don't know. He didn't mention it being exclusive.
Okay, so those are types of, so when you're dealing with partial freight, like one pallet, things like that, you got to ask those types of questions. You got to make sure, hey, you got one pallet from me. Is it an exclusive use? Is it an exclusive use type of shipment? Meaning, is that the only thing that can go on that? The reason why, because that pallet could be very valuable. They don't want nothing else being transported with it, possibly damaging it,
Right,
right? And it's
right,
very valuable. So if it is an exclusive use, now two things. You can't put anything else on the trailer, and you could probably charge a little bit more for it because exclusive use implies that the value of the commodity or what's on in the pallet is pretty high.
right.
Right.
Okay. So let's go to the load board now and look at something here. One, two, three, load board. Can you guys see the screen?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just going into one low, but I don't know. Do you guys have an authority? You have a broker authority, obviously, because you wouldn't be talking to a shipper, right?
Right.
Right. Yeah.
How long have you had your authority? How long has it been active? Well,
Uh,
I'll do you one better. What is the name or the MC number of your authority so we can see what?
MC is 1727000.
Okay. 51 State Transportation Solutions Liability
That's it.
Limited
Yeah.
Liability. That's a long name. What in the world was you guys doing?
I
50
couldn't. It just came out that way, man.
51 State Transportation Solutions. You could have said 51 State Transportation Solutions LLC instead of spelling out LLC, limited liability company, right? In any case, and you guys are in Connecticut.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but it can be fixed, right?
Yes, you can contact FMCSA
Yeah,
and do what's called what's called an amendment, or an update, if you will, and then just tell them that you want to just change it to 51 State Transportation Solutions LLC, instead of limited liability company. But at any rate, you're an active
oh, that's put it. Oh, I see what you're saying now. I don't even see that they put it. I thought it was just LLC.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's right there.
Instead,
Yeah,
instead of saying limited liability company, just replace that with LLC, right?
Right.
right.
And it'll still mean the same thing. And
Right.
guys,
Right.
because
Right.
Mhm.
you guys selected certain commodities that you're going to broker: general freight, building materials, fresh produce, which means you're going to be dealing with reefers, meat, reefers, dry bulk, maybe hopper bottoms, dump trailers, refrigerated foods, reefers, utilities, agricultural farm supplies. Okay, so you guys are all over the place there, right?
Yeah, we're trying to like level it out some and just concentrate on certain things at first.
Yeah, because we have a box truck company also, and a flatbed. My brother, he run a flatbed company, so we're just gonna probably just do box truck and flatbed.
Well, okay, well then if that's the case, then just focus on, since you've already selected it, just focus
Mm-hmm.
on general freight.
Right.
And
Yeah.
that'll encompass just about everything until you get to refrigerated commodities. But just focus on general freight and you should be fine. So in other words, that'll be your niche.
Yeah. 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 Because we gotta, like I said, get this figuring out this rate and stuff, get that under our belt first before we branch off. Because I know refrigerator stuff is a totally different
Whatever,
focus with
whatever,
the
whatever
rate.
your profit margin is, and however you figure out the rates, that's going to be consistent, regardless of whether it's a refrigerated commodity or dry commodity or a flatbed type of commodity. You as a brokerage have to determine what's your profit margin. What is your percentage that you're looking to make off of each um right? So what I mean is and I'll give you the statistics: 10, 15, or 20%. If you're a new brokerage, you could probably
Mm-hmm.
you could probably penetrate the market by starting off at 10%, maybe 15 at the most. So for
Right.
for every load tender that you get from a shipper after you've done a rate quote and you won the load, you take you mark it off 15%, and then you see if that matches. Let's go the other way. Let's go backwards. Let's go back to the low board and
Mm-hmm.
let's look at that um tools here. Market rates. So this is a low board. This is a carrier level low board. Do you guys have a low board for your brokerage?
Yeah, we dealing with DAT right now.
Okay, so you
What
got
about the TMS?
that
The,
one.
the load board is DAT. The software is
Mm-hmm.
TMS.
So you have the TMS is the transportation management software. That is like a database. It keeps track of your customers, your carriers, the loads,
Right.
accounting, things like that. So you have a so what if I'm hearing you correctly, you have a TMS integrated into your load board.
Right.
Right.
It integrated into the
It's
DAT.
integrated into the DAT. So you have uh like that broker TMS or something like that, but that one is your load board. So
Right.
in that one, I can actually show you your DAT if I had to log in, but I'll show you in mine. Um,
Mhm.
you can go to like market rates. You can get the spot market rate. So
Spot rate. Yeah.
there's two types of rates. There's the spot market rate, which are the rates that the brokers, you guys, the 3PLs, that's another name for you guys, a 3PL, brokers, what you pay to the truck. That's the spot market rate. That's the rate after you mark off your profit margin and you give the rest to the truck. That's called a spot market rate. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
other type of rate is called the contract rate, which is what the shippers pay directly to the trucking companies without the need of a broker. So they eliminate the middleman, you guys. So
That's called
you got
what?
you got so some shippers work both with brokers and direct trucking companies
Right.
because they want to get the best bang for their buck as a customer. That's what if I would want to save money, I would either tender the load directly to a trucking company if I have it, or if I don't have the time to deal with the trucking company, getting their insurance and things like that, I will hire a broker and have them do all that. That's the purpose of you guys, the 3PLs. You're going to manage that truck while it's moving my load,
Right.
says the shipper, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
um, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna show you the spot market rate so we can show you how to calculate your profit margin or your margin as a broker. Because I don't know if you guys have determined what your margins are,
No, we haven't.
regardless of any load that you move. So that one load that you said that load was, we'll just say a van, but it's just
Mm-hmm.
one pallet going on the van, one pallet. But it say it was going from spell that city again.
Specificity.
Parsippany, Parsippany.
It's right there, yeah.
Yeah, Parsippany, New Jersey,
Yeah, there you go.
and it was going to Miami.
Right.
Now, keep in mind, this is for a full truckload, a dry van full truckload. That's what I'm looking up for. So I'm giving you the spot market rate, which includes the fuel surcharge, includes fuel. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what the broker, so any spot market rate that includes the fuel surcharge, that's called an all-in rate. Okay. That's an all-in rate. The
RN rate.
all no all in. Like I'm all in on something. Like if you bet in poker, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Right.
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 All in rate. Okay. Any
But yeah.
Go ahead.
But remember, this load was an LTL load.
That's
L
correct.
right.
So
So
let's do this. I'm just giving you an idea of the spot. Let's go this. Let's go PARSIPIP. So I'm gonna look at that load. I'm gonna look up that load and let's do a new search. Let's
mhm,
say Parsippany, New Jersey
mhm,
to Miami, Florida. Radius, any date. And since it was an LTL, we're gonna say either in a straight box, in a cargo van, perhaps, right?
Mhm.
Because it's one pallet. You don't need a large equipment type to put one pallet in. You're not maximizing your dollars, and you're paying more for fuel to the bigger truck. If you can put it in a smaller vehicle, it'll get there quicker. It'll be more fuel efficient. So you
Right.
gotta look at it like that.
right.
Straight box, we'll say Sprinter van or cargo van. So those are the two options, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so all right, so we got straight box and cargo van. So we're gonna apply those. And then the filters, we're gonna say it is an LTL, less than truckload. Okay, LTL.
Mhm,
Any length, any weight. There's no loads available for that because it's rare to have one pallet, right? So I'm gonna increase the radius to see if I can pick up on something, to grab something, because those types of loads are almost non-existent.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the truck driver they are doing right now? It's like they pick up like several LTL load. That's what probably they make their money if they go in like a long distance from New Jersey to Florida or
And that's why I asked if it was an exclusive use type of shipment. If it wasn't, then they could have just threw that pallet on
right,
the other loads. So while they're making their way down to Florida from Jersey, they could have did their other deliveries, and then when they got to Miami, they would have dropped this one pallet off.
right. But you know what? They we was calling shipper, but we didn't understand a lot. We don't have a lot of experience. Like we said, we are truck drivers, right?
Uh-huh.
So when we called the shipper, we were surprised someone answered. When they answered, they asked Clark, "Can you give me a quote on this?" And we get so panicked, we didn't know what to do. And
So
you
so
know,
if you're fortunate again to get a shipper to ask you to give a quote, there's a certain standardized questionnaire that you would ask. So if I was a shipper and asked you to give me a quote, what would you think you would need from me in order to give me a good quote? Because you want to,
I I listened to you, so I know exactly what to do right now. First of all, we get the pickup location, the drop off location,
Right.
right? We pay attention when you talk. So I
What the
think
commodity is,
right,
the
what
weight,
wait, so
and
what type of shipment is it? Is it a full truckload or is it a partial or LT?
right,
Right?
right,
yeah,
Is
right,
it
right,
is it now with this situation, you're going to add this other phrase too. Is it an exclusive use type of shipment since it's an LTL? More than likely it's not going to be because it's one pallet. So they probably won't care unless the value of the commodity was very valuable. They'll say, yeah, this is an exclusive use, one pallet exclusive use. Then you can probably charge it as if it was a full truckload, right? But
right.
if they said it wasn't exclusive use, you can just throw it on a trailer with other freight, and as long as it makes the delivery, then you say, okay, so you move on to the next thing. You know,
right.
so pick up delivery.
Hmm.
Is there an appointment time for the pickup? Is there an appointment time for the delivery, or is it first come, first serve? Things like that.
Right.
So, Sharona,
Hmm.
you had a question?
No, I'm writing stuff down. Go
Oh,
ahead.
okay.
No,
If I'm
no.
talking too fast, please let me know. I'll slow up a little bit. All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to another low board and see if we can try to catch that lane. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go through my portal on my dispatcher side. I'll give you a peek at the dispatcher side. Don't get any ideas. I'm just kidding. Um, go to the low board. This is what I teach my dispatch students. I'm gonna go here and look at next load and see if we can
Right.
get an LTL lane. Uh, all right, so we're in next load. So let's see if we can find an LTL going in that direction. So right now, as I log into Nextload, these are live loads in real time. Okay.
Okay.
Right now, there's 13,310.
Access me.
Okay.
Access Alexander's scan
So
off.
there's
Voice
some background noise going on.
notification. A browser.
I don't know. Hold on, just keep coming.
Voice access me.
All right. I don't know why I keep coming on it, but
Okay, no problem.
sorry about that.
No problem. So 13,310 loads,
Hmm.
but I haven't put anything in the filters yet. Right. Let me hit more search options. You can filter even more. Right.
Mhm.
So if we want to just have we're looking for partials or LTL. So we want click that, check that box. So we don't want full truckloads, we only want partial. So 13,000. So let me uncheck that partial. 13,310. When you check just partials,
Hmm.
183 loads. Look how quickly that changed, right? I can check this box to say of all the 183 loads, I only want to see the ones that have a rate posted that's provided on the load board. I can check that and see what shows up. 124. Okay. Which is fine. Which is fine. I'm gonna uncheck it because I want to see the ones that are not posted too. So
Okay.
that's our first filtering criteria. We just drilled down. The next thing we need to see is it's coming out of the origin is Parsin. What is that?
Parsippany.
Parsippany,
Yeah. Parss.
Troy
Yeah,
Hills, New Jersey, right there.
yeah, that could work. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So now we hit the origin and there's 9 loads. Okay. Well, nine is not a lot that's not a lot of numbers. So now we can easily look at that and see, right? So the closest one of the partials of the 9 that's going in our direction is the one that's coming out of the Jersey area going down Orlando, Florida, because these other ones are going to Oregon, Minnesota, California, South Carolina, Cincinnati,
Right.
Florida. These are North Charleston. I think that's South Carolina, North Charleston, and then Portsmouth, Virginia, which is literally where I'm at right now in this. So this one here going to Orlando. Okay.
Right.
But these rates, remember, this is a partial rate. So the weight shouldn't matter. I would say at least a ton. So that's another thing. I don't think they told you the weight. Did they tell you the weight, the shipper?
No, for the one pallet?
For one pallet? It
Yeah.
could be up to about 2,000 pounds. Depends on the weight of the pallet. It depends on the weight of the shipment.
Right, right. No, he didn't give that to me.
Okay. But if you notice the rates of these partials are anywhere between $700 and $1,200 for a partial, right?
Mm-hmm.
This one is not listing it because this broker just decided not to put their rate on there. Now, if I was to put Miami right here as a destination, then this will turn to zero because nothing is going in that direction. Let me show you what I mean.
Right.
Miami, if I can spell it correctly, Miami.
Yeah, you got it.
There were no loads found that match your criteria. So we're going to remove Miami and go back to Jersey going anywhere and just choose the one that's going further south. I didn't choose an equipment type either. I didn't choose a cargo van or a sprinter van or anything like that. So I'm going to scroll down and see even a hot shot. You know what a hot shot is, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Like a
I
dually.
I don't know what it is. Tell me, please.
Okay. What is a hot shot? Let me give you a visual. Let's go to in my dispatcher course, I give visuals there. So I'm going to switch back and go under module one for the carriers.
It's like a pickup truck type thing with a
Right,
bed on the back.
right there. So I'm going to blow this screen up.
Right.
Okay, I got it.
There she be.
Can you see that? I blew it up. Hopefully I blew it up large enough. So a hot shot is a dually pickup truck, like a Ram 2500 or a Ford 250, 350, with
Mm-hmm.
a almost like a gooseneck, which actually is a gooseneck, trailer up to about 40 feet attached to that. That's a
Right.
and this one has one, two, three axles, right? So your weight
Mm-hmm.
of the trailer depends on the axle number, right? The more axles you have, the more weight you can support, especially if those axles are spread to kind of disseminate or dissipate the weight a little bit, distribute
Right.
the weight distribution. So these axles are closed in, they're closed together. So most of your weight is going to be probably put on the axles as opposed to put on more towards the front of the trailer,
Right.
right? So you truckers understand what I'm saying, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, this is a three axle. So you figure this can get about anywhere between 15 to about 25, maybe even 30,000 pounds on this trailer that this dually pickup truck is going to push. And this is up to a 40-foot trailer. You can put about so many pallets. Let's see, 40 feet. Pallets are what, 42 by
40 by
40
48
by 40.
sometimes.
Yeah, 48 by 40s. So
Right.
that's 4 feet. If you say this is 20 feet, you can put one, two, five, about 10 pallets on here. Now you're getting into, basically basic arithmetic and math.
Right. 26 foot, you could put 12 on there. So you figure that's 40. So you got 12.
Correct. And then
Another,
a 53 footer, you put 26 pallets
right.
on
Mhm.
there. Standard. Now these are standardized pallets, 48 by 40s or 48 by 48s. So, um, so yeah, so that's what a hot shot is, Sharana. So if we go back to, um,
Get about 18, 20 on there.
we go back to here, we can choose, because I want to see if this nine load will go away if I choose any of the equipment types. If I choose a hot shot, press enter to select, and I want to choose them. So if I choose a hot shot, it says no loads. I'm gonna take a hot shot away. Regular loads. So what do these go
Mhm.
on? So they go on the one is
Looks like
the one is going
cargo
to
van.
drive in, right? So but
Right.
I don't want to put one pallet in a drive in. I'm not maximizing. That's inefficient, right? You
Right.
understand why it's inefficient? You're putting one pallet on a 53-foot trailer. You got so much other room for space, and you're wasting that space. And you
Right.
got to pay that truck driver to burn fuel to run that dry van for one pallet. That doesn't make sense.
No, no, it's a waste.
It's a waste, right? So
Yeah.
these are only for these equipments are only for drive-ins, but they're giving you, even if it's for a drive-in, they're giving you partial rates still. So that's good, right? So for example, let's open up this one
Mhm.
and see. Let's open up this one and see what the specifics of the load is right here. See right here is only this is a partial load, LTL.
Mm-hmm.
The length of the load is 12 feet. So that could be a one piece that's 12 feet long, or it can be so many pallets stacked together consecutively that it measures.
Takes
Yeah,
up 12 feet.
right. So you wouldn't know that until you call right here, Amy Carball at DRT Transportation to get the information of what it is,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the load, the shipment type is a partial, right? You see that right there, right?
Right, right.
So I'm taking this information and I'm gauging it, right? So like going from Jersey or New York area close to Jersey out to Oregon out west for a partial is $700, which is ridiculous. 25 cents a mile. That's crazy. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, so but these are the I mean that's just the rates. So you would do the same thing in your DAT load board. You would man, I wish I had your login. I could just log into it and show it to you. You can look it up, the partials, get the rates, and see what that says, right? But that's what
Right.
you're gonna do. You're gonna put the origin, destination, and the type of shipment it is. You're gonna say partial, LTL, and then you're gonna get that information. But let's say, for example, that the number was let's say it was $500 to take a partial because I want to give you realistic information. So let's say that one pallet going from in a sprinter van, a cargo van, or even a box truck was paying $500 to run from uh Parsippany, Troy Hills, New Jersey, down to the Miami area, $500. So that'd be your rate. But now that'd be the rate that you'll be willing to pay to the truck. That's a spot market rate.
Oh, that's bad.
That's your starting point. Now, you would you would put now to give a quote to a shipper, you would
Mm-hmm.
put your margin or your percentage on top of that. So let's go back to the whiteboard and let me show you what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's erase this. Can you guys see the whiteboard again?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
Yes.
it was determined that that lane for a partial paid $500 for that one pallet going from Jersey to Florida. Okay. You determine that your profit margin for any load, whether it's an LTL, whether it's a full truck load or partial, whatever it is, you determine your standard profit margin for every load tender that you get from a customer, irregardless of the customer, is 20%. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just throwing a number out there, 20%.
Right.
So for
Instead
every
of 10, 15, it'd be 20.
right, I'm just throwing 20% for easy math. But let's say 15.
Okay.
Let's say 15. Let's meet it in the middle. 15%. Okay. 15% profit margin.
Okay.
For your margin of what you look to make off of that. Off of every shipment, that's your margin. Right. So if the customer said, okay, give me a quote for that, you found out the lane pays on average $500 to the truck and your margin is 15%. Well, what's 15% of $500? Right? That's just math right there. You just take 500,
75.
right, times 15%, $75, right?
Right.
So that's your profit margin. So you're going to add $75 to the $500
500, right.
to be what?
575.
575. Now, when you go back and quote it to the shipper, you're not going to quote 575. You're going to quote something higher, like 600, 625, 650.
Right, right.
Right?
Right. Okay.
This is your baseline, though. That's your profit. That's your baseline or your threshold because it includes what the spot market rate pays to the truck plus your margin.
Mm-hmm.
You negotiate with a customer, you want to add to that because most customers are going to go down. So
Right,
you go up, they come down, and you guys
Sure.
you meet each
Percentage.
other. You meet
Yeah.
each other in the middle.
right.
So we'll say six. Let's say 650. Let's jump out there. Let's jump off the porch. Six.
Mhm.
Okay.
So the customer says, okay, I got a quote from you for 650. I got this other 3PL or this other broker that's saying 625. Okay.
Mhm.
You say, okay, well, they're quoting 625, but what type of incentives or what type of extra services are they adding for that rate? And then you can still beat them. You can get it for 650. You just add extra services to your, we're gonna do check calls on the carrier to make sure they pick up and deliver on time. They have
Mm-hmm.
OTP and OTD, on time pickup, on time delivery. We're gonna do check calls on our drivers to make sure we're gonna vet our drivers correctly to make sure that they are compliant, that they're within the compliance of the FMCSA. We're gonna keep in contact with you, either Mr. Shipper, either or Miss Shipper, either phone or email directly in
Right.
every step of the load movement process from the time that they pick up from the time that we send them the rate confirmation to the time
Mhm.
that we send the BOL to your shipping facility for them to pick up the load. They'll have all the details of the load. From the time that they get loaded, they're going to let us know. We're going to send you an email. Hey, our load number ABC123 has been picked up by the carrier trucking company. We're going to keep you in the loop. We're going to be very transparent with you. You're getting all of this for 650.
Right.
Shipper's going to say, "Oh, okay, okay, I like that."
Right. Right.
Throughout the load movement process, we're going to keep everything smooth uh, and transparent and visible for you, shipper, so you can know where your customer's shipment is because it's your customer's freight. Your customer bought this freight from you, these finished goods on this pallet. You're just paying us to get a truck to get it moved to their destination,
Right. Right.
right?
Right.
So you can, talk like that to them, right?
Right.
Those are the guarantees, and that literally that's what you're supposed to do, right? That's your broker.
Yeah. Supposed to guarantee that, so they can
Right.
relax
Well,
and, feel
nothing's
comfortable about it.
guaranteed. Right. Nothing's guaranteed because accidents happen, traffic slows things down.
Yeah.
So you don't want to use
Which is
that G
true.
word. Yeah. You want to use it very loosely. You can use the G word if you develop a relationship with your carriers whereby they're always doing that every time. Every time you give them a shipment, they're always doing that. You can say, okay, then you can become bold enough to say, hey, my carrier is pretty good. I can almost guarantee that this
Almost. Right.
yeah, that this
Exactly.
load is going to
Exactly.
get it's going to get picked up on time and it's going to get delivered on time and there's not going to be any hiccups. Even if there are any hiccups, I make sure that my carrier is transparent with me, by which I'm transparent with you because they're going to say, "Hey, I'm stuck in traffic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on I-95. There's an accident. They're either rerouting us 20 minutes out of our way, or I can stay in this and wait till the accident clears up." And the carrier is transparent,
Right.
letting us know and then we'll let you know. So that because you got to let the
Right.
customer know so that they can let their customer know, the receiver or the consignee, that there's going to be a delay in that shipment
A
so that they
slight delay. Right.
can
Right.
make plans. Right. So these are things that as a broker you will learn over time because not every load is going to be smooth. You're going to have those tough times. And that's where you need the knowledge and the know-how of how to handle the tough times. Handling a smooth
Mm-hmm.
load is handling a smooth load is easy because it's a smooth load. There's
Right.
nothing you got
Right.
to do. You ain't got to do nothing, right?
True.
A smooth load, you ain't got to do nothing. The
Right.
carrier picked it up. They follow all the steps on the rate con. They signed the BOL, got it loaded at the shipping facility, closed their doors, secured everything, wrote down the seal number on the BOL, sealed the truck, transported it safely and securely, however many days to the consignee, and then broke the seal there, offloaded the freight. Nothing was damaged. No OS and Ds, overs, shorts, and damages. None of that. Right?
Right.
Everything was smooth. So
Right.
those types of brokering is easy. It's the ones that, the carrier's driving reckless, they slide in the truck, pallet slide, shift, break the band on the pallet, the freight is all over the trailer. You got to deal with that.
Yeah.
You got insurance claims, you got claims against your bond as a broker. Those are the tough ones you got to deal with as a broker. Now, God forbid those don't happen too often because you're going to have so many claims against your bond that they're going to revoke your bond and you're not going to be broker any long. Right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's that's the reason and the importance of having good carriers. And that's why you have a vetting system to weed out the carriers, the good ones from the bad ones. And you can guarantee that to your customer that I guarantee you that my vetting process for the carriers to transport your freight, Mr. or Miss Shipper, will be such that um, we kind of minimize the accidents and we maximize on time pickup and on time delivery. If you hire us as
Right.
if you hire us as your 3PL, this is this is what I can guarantee that you get. Okay.
Right.
But
Okay.
here's the margin though. So you again as a brokerage, you have to determine what your number is as far as your percentage. Is it going to be 10? Is it going to be 15? Is it going to be 20%? And then once you find that margin, you stick with that number, irregardless of what shipper and what load tender amount it is. It could be a $2,000 load, it could be a $3,000 load. If you are doing 10%, 15 or 20%, then that's what you would mark off your profit margin for. And then the difference would be what you pay to the truck. Okay.
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 So if you get it for 650 and the lane pays 500, then you just made what, 150?
Yeah.
Because
150.
you paid the truck. And that's one shipment. Let's say you do 10 of those a week. So now that's 1,500 and that's just one customer. Let's say you got 5 customers doing that.
Mhm.
You see how the numbers can add up now?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have to get the baseline process down first and understand how that works first. Right? So when a shipper calls you again, right? And they ask you to quote a lane. Oh yeah, so sure I can quote this lane. Is it a FTL or LTL or a partial? And then what's the commodity? What's the weight? What equipment does it go on? Where it's picking up from the consignor or the shipping location. Is that an appointment time? Is that an appointment time or is that FC? I'm sorry, FCFS. What does FCFS means?
I don't,
First, FC, first come, first serve.
First come, first serve. There you go.
Right. Right. Right.
So
Right.
I mean, no appointment. That's a 24-hour shipper. So by the time you basically now you're standing in line with other trucks or your carriers are that you're brokering. If you got
Right.
if you got an FCFS type of shipment, then whatever time your trucks get there, your carrier get there, that's where they'll be placed in the line. So let's say they're going to a DC. What's a DC? So I'm throwing jargon out here now for you carriers. Sharana may not know what this is, but if you broker a truckload and you get a carrier and they got to pick up from a DC and deliver to a DC, what's a DC? A DC is a distribution center, like Target,
Oh,
Walmart's, things like
Oh,
that,
okay.
right?
okay.
So
Okay.
these, yeah, just so you know, you're gonna hear those things. You're gonna hear a shipper say, "Yeah, I got, we need a truckload. We need truckloads going. We need about 10 truckloads a day coming into our Manhattan DC, going to our Charlotte, North Carolina DC." You're gonna be like, "What? What is that?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you say, "What
Never
is
heard that
that?"
before.
When you say, "What is that?" You're giving the shipper an indicator that you don't know what you're doing.
Right. Get confused,
That's
right?
true.
Right, but you just heard it. Yeah, we need a you get on the phone with a shipper, you call them and you guys have a good it's one thing to have a great conversation. You guys break the ice and that's all well and good. It's another thing to be able to do the work that they're requesting from you,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
Right.
so make sure you understand the difference between the two. Breaking
Mhm.
the ice is great. That's fine. Now let's get down to the meat and potatoes, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, Can you handle our DC to DC shipments? Yeah, yes, sir. How many do you have? Well, we do about 10 to 15 a week. Going
Right.
going from our Columbus, Ohio facility, our target DC in Columbus, Ohio,
Yeah.
going down to the Charleston, South Carolina DC. And you say, wait a minute, Charleston, South Carolina is not DC. DC is what? You think you were like Washington? You mean Washington DC? What are you talking about?
Yeah, right.
So so they're saying distribution center facilities. Those are the large distribution centers with about 40 bay doors that trucks go into and out of on a daily basis. And
Right.
and they're waiting in line to get to into those doors, and your truck may be right here waiting to get in. There's other trucks waiting to get in there, those distributions.
Right.
That's
Those
actually
are those are
right.
FCFS
Yeah. Yeah,
facilities.
we've been to places like that, like Aldi's
Yep,
warehouse.
exactly. Those warehouses, right? So you go to the security gate,
Yeah.
you check in at the security gate, and then you
Yeah.
give them the BOL number or the load pickup number or whatever number you give them.
Right.
They'll call up to the facility, the logistics manager up there.
Right.
Hey, I got a truck ABC with load pickup number ABC 123. What do you want them? Put them in bay number 4, and that's where you'll be directed to go.
Yeah, do that, or they'll give you a call and let you know where to go, you know?
Right. They'll either give you a call, they'll say, wait in this staging area with all the other trucks, 12,
Mhm.
13, 14 trucks.
Right,
And when we
right,
call you, you can go to bay number 4.
right,
That's exactly
right.
what it is. Now, as a broker, you don't have nothing to do with that, but yet you do. It's more the carrier's responsibility, but the broker should be aware because you are managing this load. It's the carrier is physically at the location, of course, but you still need to be on top of it as
Mm-hmm.
a broker to make sure that things go smoothly. And
Okay.
things will go smoothly if the carrier needs to contact you and you are available so that you can call the customer and let them know that your carrier is having difficulty with getting into that bay for whatever reason. So now
Mm-hmm.
the facility can call down to the warehouse manager and say, "What's going on? I got truck ABC 123 saying that they can't get into Bay 4. What's going on down there?"
Mhm.
Oh, the truck prior to that, your truck has broken down. Their trailer is stuck in the
Yeah.
bay door. They got locked in the bay door. We're having a malfunction with the locks to release that trailer, or whatever the reason is. So it's going to be a delay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well,
Right, right,
and as a broker, you can ask, well, are there any other bay doors empty and available that we can shift the freight and stage it at those doors? Well, yeah, we got 5 and 6. Okay, well, what are you waiting on? Stage the freight. Get a forklift, move that staged freight from bay 4 and move it to either 5 or 6, and then send my guy to those bays so they can get loaded and get out of here.
right,
You
We
right.
see?
have that same problem when we do Amazon also. It's the same problem, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
these are some of the things you would need to know those types of things and ask those types of questions. Well, are there any other available bay doors so that my guy can get loaded and on time and get out of here and still be on time to make his or her delivery?
Yeah,
And
we have
Right.
that problem with Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Going through some of that.
right. So, Sharona, are you okay? You have any questions here?
No, I'm just listening, looking, listening. No
Okay.
questions so far.
All right. So Jackson's, right? What's your last name? The Jacksons?
Oh, no, Alexander's.
Alexander's, okay. Are you okay with the Okay, so let me give you some examples of your profit margin, how to figure out what your profit margin is. So you got a $5,000 load tender,
Mm-hmm.
a $2,500 load tender, and you got a $3,000 or $3,800 load tender. These are, when I say a load tender, this is what the shipper tenders the load for. In other words, this is what the shipper is willing to pay a 3PL, which is you guys, a broker. 3PL
Mm-hmm.
stands for, what does 3PL stand for? 3PL. What is 3? 3PL stands for third party logistics. You guys are brokers.
Right.
You are a third party logistics. You're a third party because you don't have the loads, nor do you have the trucks to move the loads, but you are
Right.
but you are the intermediary between that process. So the
Right.
shippers have the loads, the carriers have the equipment, the capacity to move the loads. You are in the middle of that process, and you are the person who arranges for the transportation of that. That's why you are the third party logistics person. That's what a
Okay.
3PL means. Okay.
All right. I thought the 3PL meant like you warehouse the stuff and you pack it when the customer wants it shipped out to one of their customers.
Right. So you got different PL numbers. You got one, two, three, four, and five PLs. That's a great point. So let's go. A warehouse can be a 4PL. They can be a brokerage which has a warehouse to be able to store inventory and then have
Okay.
it transloaded or cross-docked and then moved. They'll charge for the inventory for storage, and then when the
Mm-hmm.
customer is ready to have a truckload produced, they'll call the warehouse and say, "Hey, we need a truckload made by close of business today. An LTL company is going to come in and grab a truckload from you at around 3 o'clock, and it needs to be moved here." So you know
Right.
LTL companies like Saya, R&L, Yellow, all those LTL companies,
Mm-hmm.
YRC. You know which one I'm talking about, right? They'll come in,
Right.
they'll come in and uh grab Old Dominion,
Old
right?
Dominion,
Old Dominion.
RXO.
These are LTL companies. They
Right.
come
You
in
got
and grab
RXO and yeah.
RXO, exactly. So you know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. RXO, these LTL companies, they'll come in and grab 14 pallets or 8 pallets or whatever that customer called your warehouse for to stage and get
Right.
prepared to move out, right?
Right.
Because you're storing in your warehouse on racks the pallets of that customer's freight, right?
Right.
You got
Right.
those
Right.
you got those pallets on racks, and you got a scanning system in your WMS, your warehouse management system, and you're keeping
Mm-hmm.
track of what's there, what's going in and what's coming out. So
Right. Right.
that's called inventory management, right?
Right.
And you manage the inventory in a warehouse management system. Now, this is getting beyond brokering, but it's more warehousing and distribution, but it's still good to at least mention it a little bit, right?
Right. Right.
So, so yeah, but those are LTL companies, Saia, RXO, RNL, YRC, Old Dominion. You got the warehousing distribution. Now you're getting into storage. Now that's another way to make money. If you can get a warehouse, 25,000 square foot, you can charge shippers to
Storing. Right.
store their finished products in your facility, and you charge per square footage
Right.
in
Right.
the warehouse.
Wow,
Right.
that's a
You
good
may
idea.
have a you may have a certain you may have a certain space in your warehouse for this shipper, a certain square footage for that. You got 25,000 square feet. You may have 5,000 square feet for this one shipper, 5,000 for this one, 5,000 for that one, and then you can charge per
Right.
square footage, and then you manage those pallets.
Right.
So as some pallets come in or go out, you let that customer know, hey, 3 pallets left today. Do you have any other finished goods you need stored? Bring 3 more pallets in so we can keep our inventory counts at that certain level. So we'll have
Mm-hmm.
enough to make those truckloads.
Right. Right. Right.
Okay.
Right.
All
Right.
right. So it's good. You followed. I'm glad you followed.
Yeah, that's somewhere down the line. God bless, you know?
Yeah. So back to the load tenders, what the
Mm-hmm.
shippers are going to pay, a load tender is what a shipper is going to pay a 3PL or even a carrier to move their shipment for. And sometimes it's negotiable and sometimes it's non-negotiable, right? So
Right.
5,000. Now, of the load tenders, let's say your profit margin was 15%, right?
Right.
So now it's just simple math now. What are you looking to make off of a $5,000 load tender? What are you looking to make off of a 2,500 one? And what are you looking to make off of 3,800? So you guys do the math. What's the math? 15% of 5,000, 15% of 2,500, and 15% of 3,800. Let's do the first one. 15% of 5,000.
Think that'd be 750 altogether for that.
750. That's $750. So now,
Right.
okay, that's that. What is 15% of 2,500?
375.
Three. And Sharana, you following us here? 375. Okay. 375. And then what's
3,000.
15% of 3,800?
Um,
570.
570. Okay. So those are your profit margins for those load tenders, each of those load tenders. Now I'm gonna do something here,
3,800.
right? 750. So now, how much is left of those monies of that 5,000 to pay the truck? You just simply, in the first example, you will subtract 750 from the 5,000. How much is that? How much is $750 on this first example minus, yeah, from the 5,000, 1, 2, and 3. I think Sharana was muted. You were saying something, but you were muted, Sharana.
Okay.
That's 4,250.
Okay, so 4250. Let me erase these three PLs and I'm gonna put the difference. So 42 of the first example, if 15%, if 750 is 15% of 5,000, then obviously what's left is 4250. That is the amount that you have to play with to pay a carrier. Now, 4250 may not be what that lane averages for that carrier. It may be 3,800, but you got 4250. So you may even keep some more money after the difference, right? So let's go to the second.
Right.
I'll get into that in a second, but let's go to the second one. After you take your 15% off of 2,500, which is 375, what is left? How much?
2125.
21
25.
25. Okay, so that's a possible amount that you can have wiggle room to pay to the truck if the lane dictates that. And then the third one, what's the third one? 570 from 3,800.
3230.
30 to 30. Now, depending on the lane, the equipment type, the weight, all these other factors, the spot market rate, let's say for this one, the number one, it may only pay the truck, let's say 37 or 3,800. You already have 750 in your back pocket as a profit margin as a broker. Number one, the first example. If the lane,
Mm-hmm.
if the lane paid for this first one, 3,800, right? On average, the lane paid on average 3,800. And the carrier didn't negotiate. Let's say the carrier negotiated and say, hey, man, I know the average for this lane for this drive and run, 48,000 pounds, 45,000 pounds, pays 38, but can you do 4,000? Well, you got 4,250 to play with. So can you do 4,000? You can, right? So
Yeah.
if you give it to the truck for 4,000, well, what's the difference between 4,000 and 4,250? 250, right? You guys
Yeah.
see what I'm doing?
Yep.
Yeah. Second, I'm getting at
250. So you got 250 left to go in your pocket, 250. Well, you already had 750 to begin with. So now you at how much are you at now as a profit margin for your brokerage?
1,000.
$1,000. Ding, ding, ding. 1K. So depending on what the lane is for that shipment and the average and how much wiggle room that you want to go in your play money, so to speak, your leftover money that you got tendered to you from the shipper. You follow what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? You follow what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, number two. Let's do a scenario. And number two. So let's say you took out your profit margin from a $2,500 load tender that the shipper awarded you because you quoted the lane properly, and they say, okay, we'll give it to you for 2,500. Find a truck, move this rate. Okay, you got 2,500 to play with. You already took your 15% off, so you actually got 2,125 to play with. Let's say the lane paid 1,800. Let's say the lane
Right.
the truck on average, the lane for that lane that you just won that tender in from that shipper averages 1,800 to the truck. And if you get a driver that says, hey man, I could do it for 1,950, 2,000. and you guys go back and forth because you're going to go back and forth with a carrier negotiating back and forth. As long as they don't
Right.
exceed, as long as they don't exceed this 21.25. Now, if they exceed the
Right.
21.25 negotiating with you, now they're dipping into your plate, your profit margin. You see that?
Right.
And you don't want that.
Right.
That's what you don't want, right?
That's right. Right.
You now
Exactly.
and what so and now does it happen that sometimes carriers can dip into your profit margin? Yes. If it means you get consistent loads from the shipper and you get a lot of carriers running it, I'll dip into my profit margin because I want to make up of it in volume. So I may get 10, 20 loads a week instead of
Right.
375, I may get it at 300. I may give that extra $75 up. But if I get 10
Hmm.
loads at 300, that's 3,000 as opposed to trying to keep the money and just get one truck at 375, I'm not winning, right? So you got to think about that too now. You got to keep that in mind.
Right. Right.
So you got to look at it from both sides. But anyway, let's say you get a carrier, the average for that lane. And now, how would you know what the average for the lane is? Well, you're going to put it in a load board. You're going to get the spot market rate, what other brokers are paying to the trucks on average, right? And let's say that lane, whatever it is, Miami to, I don't know, Louisiana or Miami to Houston, or Houston to Tennessee, Knoxville, whatever it is, on average,
Hmm.
drive in a reefer or flatbed, whatever equipment type, and you'll learn that over time, different equipment types, different directions, what it's paying, things like that. But these are baselines that you need to go off of so you can determine your numbers, right? So
Hmm.
Um, so it said 1800, right? On average. You may see something says 1850, 1925, or 1775, whatever, but on average, it's 1800. So you get a carrier that calls you because you posted your load on a load board for 1800
Right.
at the spot market average rate. You figure,
Right.
okay, I want to put it on the load board for at least the average. I may get some hits. You get a carrier call you, say, man, I see you got this load on the load board. It's going for the average rate, but can you add a little more to it? Is there room for negotiation? You say, yeah, it depends on what you have to offer. Sure.
Right.
How much you looking for? I posted for 1800, but what are you looking for? Can you add another 200 for? Because fuel prices going in that direction is kind of crazy. I need to keep my truck running, so I can't run my truck without diesel, and diesel is a
Right.
little bit more expensive. You say, okay, I'll give you another $200. So you give it to them at 2,000,
Right.
but
Mhm.
you had 21.25 in there. So what's left?
A buck and a quarter.
A buck and a quarter. So now you got a buck and a quarter added to your original 375.
Right.
Now, what is your profit from that?
500.
500. All right, let's say the ghetto version, 500,
500.
not 500. 500.
500.
500. That's what we say. We should say in Detroit, 500. Okay,
All
so
right.
so you got it right. So
Yeah.
all right, so let's do the third one. So you picking up on it, right? So I'm not gonna give so I'm just gonna give you and you give me the numbers. I'm just gonna give you the lane and what the carrier could have negotiated it for. So let's say this last one here. Let's say the lane paid 27.50 on average to the truck for that run. You got 32. And let's say the carrier negotiated you, let's get ridiculous. Let's up to, let's say he negotiated you an extra buck 50. So he negotiated up to 2,900, right? So
Okay.
now that's what you are going to do a rate confirmation for that carrier for. So now you give me the numbers. What's your end profit margin after you do the difference? You guys tell me.
2,900.
Let me see. We got 32. He was negotiated for,
I wish I could play the Jeopardy question at the end.
Oh, 330
right?
plus 570. That'll be $900.
There you go, Sharana.
570.
So what she did is she took 2,900, subtracted it from 3,230. That gave her 330, right? And then she
Okay.
simply added the 330 to the 570, and that gave her Nine hunduns. 900. 900. Nine honey buns, right? Nine.
Yep.
So are you picking up on that?
Yeah, we're looking.
Picking up what I'm putting down. That's all I need to know. You
Yes.
Right.
just learned something.
Wait,
Go ahead. You have a question, sir?
Hmm.
now I was looking at that. That last one, we started out with 3,800, right?
Right. That was the load tender from the shipper. And then
Right.
you marked it off your original 15%, right? So what's 15% of 3,800?
That was 570.
570. So that's in your back pocket.
Mhm.
So what's the difference of 570 from that 3,800? It's the one in the middle in green right here.
Mhm.
21.
Nope.
No, 3,230. I'm sorry. Yeah.
3,230. Right. That's the one in green. So that's what you got to play with on the load board, or when you
Yeah, I
find a
got that
carrier,
over
you got to
here.
play with that number. Now, if you're a smart broker, you're not going to give them all of that. You want to still make some extra money, even though you got 570 in your back pocket.
Right.
Mhm.
This is your wiggle room, 32, because again, the lane was 27.50. So
Right.
if you would have got a truck to move it at 27.50, you would have made even more money, because the difference between 27.50 is a lot more than the difference between 2,900 and that 32.30, as opposed. Let's do that. What's the difference between 27.50 and 32.30? What's that number? 32.30 minus 27.50.
3230 minus 27. 480.
480. Now
480.
you add that 480 to
Fif-
your
That's
570.
1,580.
Say again.
It's 3,200.
3,230
Minus
minus
27.50
2,750.
is 480, right?
Yeah, 480. You're right. You're right. You're
Okay.
right.
So now
I
you
didn't
add
carry
that
some.
four. Now add that 480 to your back pocket money. What's your back pocket money? 570, right?
570.
I add that to it. So it's large.
So how much would that be? That would have been $1,050.
1,000. Right.
$50. So that's more than
$50.
that's more than
1050.
900. So as a broker, it would stand to reason that you would try to get closer to the market rate for a carrier than to try to negotiate for the if you want to maximize that your profit margin. But most cases, if you're a good broker too, you want to be good to the carriers, because it's important that the carriers move the load, because how else are you going to get paid? If the carrier
Right.
don't move that load, you're not going to get paid,
Mhm.
That's true.
right?
Yep.
So, and you got enough wiggle room. So don't be too greedy, right? So you got 27.50 is the average. If they want an extra $1.50 to move it and you got 32.30, don't be greedy. Go ahead and get to them. You're still gonna make your money. You already got the back pocket money, and now you're adding an extra three. And this is just one shipment. Let's say you're doing 10 of these a week. So 900 times 10 is 9,000.
Mhm.
You think you can live off $9,000 a week as a
Oh,
broker or one
yeah,
shipper?
I can.
Okay. All you gotta do now is just manage that account. Manage the account. Manage the shipper. Each shipper, each customer is an account. You just manage the account by providing good carriers, tendering the loads correctly, keeping your profit margins where they are, and doing the job. Right?
Right.
There you go. So my wife said, make sure you answer the questions about the rates, and so I think that's what this is, what we're doing now.
Hmm.
So are you guys okay?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm following you here.
Okay, I'm gonna do three more examples, and I'm not gonna do any numbers. I want you to do the numbers. Okay.
Okay.
So, and we're gonna do
Okay.
one at a time, right? So I can write everything for that particular example, as opposed to having all this stuff all over the screen that can be confusing, right? So let's do one at a time, and you just tell me, and I'll color code it as we go. So first of all, we have to determine as a broker, what is our broker profit margin? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 20%?
15%.
15.
15%.
Yeah, 15.
Okay, so as a group, our profit margin is 15%. So we're going to put that there, 15%. So we know that. So we call the shipper. I'm the shipper. You guys call me. You have a conversation. Hey, yeah, can you quote this for me?
Yep.
and you get all the information. What information when you first, I'll either ask you for a lane bid or a rate quote. You may have heard this before from a customer. They either told you, give me a lane bid or a rate quote. Most
Okay.
of them say a rate quote, right?
Bid
Right.
So they'll say either a lane,
rate
they want you
quote.
to bid, they want you to bid on that lane, and whoever bids the best in their eyes wins it, or a rate quote. Those
Okay.
are the two
Okay.
things that they'll ask for. And in most cases, they'll ask for this one before they ask for the other one, a rate quote. Because most people don't know how to lane, they don't know how to lane bid, but they know how to quote rates.
Okay.
In either case, here is some of the standard things you would ask for, right? The information you would ask from the shipper in order to provide either a rate quote or a lane bid, right? This is important, right?
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Mhm.
um, let me grab this. So, and let's talk this out, right? If you're talking to me, I'm a shipper, and you need to give me the best rate quote before you win that load tender from me, which once you get a load tender from a shipper and you accept that load tender by checking yes and you accept it, then you are responsible as a broker to move that load by finding an approved carrier, right? That's what that means. If you get a load
Right.
tender and you accept the load, then you got to move it as a broker. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I say quote a lane. Do a lane quote. So well what's the where's it picking up from? What's the pickup and what's the delivery
Right.
location, right? And
Yep.
are they appointments or first come, first served? Do you think that's important as a broker to know that?
Yep.
Right.
Because you got to share this information with your carrier. How does the carrier know where to pick the load up from if you don't have the pickup location? How does the carrier know whether to deliver it to if you don't have the delivery location? In
Right.
addition to that, you need the POC of both. Locate, pick up and delivery. What's POC? Point of contact person, right?
Right.
You need their name,
What is it?
need their email,
Contact name.
and a phone number. Those are three standard things you would need from a POC, a point of contact. And this is at both the pickup and the delivery,
Right.
right? I mean, it makes sense, right? You need to call somebody
Mm-hmm.
in case there are any hiccups along the way. You need to know who your main POC is, your point of contact. Is that not important?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay. All right, so that's number one. Anything else you think you need out of this? And
I
You
if you
don't.
got
need to find out the weight.
right, well, that's I'm getting to the next point.
Okay.
So
The,
number one is
what-
that. So now
the,
number two,
the commodity.
exactly. Good catch. So let me erase this. Number two, the commodity. What is a commodity? The commodity is what is being hauled in that carrier's trailer. What are the goods? What's the freight? What's the cargo? What is the commodity? That's what that means. What is the cargo? What is the freight? What can it be? Is it dry goods? Is it refrigerated goods? Is it lumber? Whatever it is, right? What are the materials? What is the freight? That's what, so these are all synonymous terms. They mean the same thing. Commodity, freight, cargo means
Right.
it's what's being loaded in the trailer. That's what that means. That's a commodity. That's important because some carriers don't put certain commodities in their trailers.
Right.
I don't haul this, or I don't want to do that load. I don't haul that in my trailer. My trailer up last time. You got carriers who are prima donnas, right?
Right. Understandable.
Right. So what's the commodity? What's the weight? How much does it weigh? I have to make sure that I scale properly, right?
Right.
You can be legal on your gross vehicle weight rating, but you can be over scale weight either on your drive axles or your tandems. Do you know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I'm talking like this because I used to be a carrier, so I understand everything about it, right?
Yeah.
Because you got your steer tires in the front. Remember, gross vehicle weight rating is 80,000 pounds, right? 80,000. 12,000 on the steer, 34,000 on the drive, 34,000 on the tandem. That adds up to 80,000,
Right.
right? Sharana, you follow me there?
Yeah, that's the big boy
Yeah,
there.
yep, I'm writing down everything. I'm writing it down.
Okay. So your tandem axles are in the back.
Okay, 10 DEM.
So I'm gonna give you an image of that, but it has to be weight. So for a dry van, the weight in the trailer could be up to 45,000 pounds. For a refrigerated trailer with a temperature control unit on it, the max weight can be up to 44,000 pounds because you have to compensate for the TCU, the temperature control unit on the reefer on the front of the trailer. That's why it's a little bit less than the dry van. And then
All
for the
right.
and then for the flatbed, 46 to 48 length. I'm sorry, yeah, 46 and 48. I'm sorry, 48 and 53 foot flatbed trailers. The weight can be between 46 and 48,000 pounds.
Right.
Right. So make sure I
What's
got
the length of the flatbed again?
it could either be a 48-foot flatbed, a skateboard, or a 53-foot skateboard.
Right. Right.
Okay. So the weight for the 48 can max out at 46,000. The weight for the 53 can max out at 48,000.
Right.
So 46 to 48.
46 to 48. Right.
Okay. So let me give you an image of that so it can bring home the point with Sharana. Because I don't know if Sharana used to be a carrier or has any carrier
No, I
there.
don't.
Okay, so let me draw, and I'm a terrible artist, but uh, so you have here. We put it a bright color. Okay, so you have. Okay, here's the trailer. Here's the tractor. Right, right. So you have tires, tires, and tires. Right? You laughing? Look, you laughing? Huh?
That's working over here. Listen.
Okay, so
That's
you have
working.
so your gross vehicle weight rating for this unit is 80,000 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thousand, I'm gonna use the pound symbol, 80,000 pounds. So you can be legal as far as the gross vehicle weight rating, but when you scale at a weigh station and a scale, you get your scale ticket, you could be over on one of the sections. So these right here are the steer. This is the steer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the steer axle. Why is it called the steer axle? Because it's steering the tractor in the direction it needs to go.
Right.
Like you're turning the wheels, yada, 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 right? Steer, S-T, forgive me on the T right there, Steer.
Mm-hmm.
These are the drive axles because it's driving the fifth wheel in the direction that the steer tires is having it to go. Yes or no?
That's right.
Drive. These are the drive axle because that's where the fifth wheel is at. This is where
Right.
this is where the tractor couples to the trailer
Right.
or connects to the trailer, right? And then on the back end, these are the end or what we call tandems or the tandem axles. On the and tandem means two. It could be it could be more, but I'm gonna put axle here. Right. So if you notice, there's two tires, two axles on each one, except for the steer. So the steer,
Right.
12,000 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each axle on the drive axles can be 17,000 pounds each, max. 17,000, 17,000. So that's where the 34,000 came from. Okay? See that? Same thing with the tandems. It could be
Yep.
17 and 17 for a
Okay.
total of 34 total for the tandems. So if you add 34,000 plus 34,000 plus 12,000, how much does that equal?
When you say 34,000,
Yep, so 34,000 plus 34,000 is 68,000 plus
68, right?
plus the 12,000 on the steer axle. 68 plus 12 is 80. That's where your 80,000
80,000, yep,
that's
total.
where your 80,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a combination of the weight on the axles of the equipment type.
Right.
Right? Now, What do I mean? What I mean when I said you could be legal on the GVWR, the gross vehicle weight rating, but you can be over. Let's say you were, when you go to a scale, you scaled at 38 tandem, 29 drive axle.
Right.
Then you're over, where are you overweight at? You're overweight on the tandem,
Overweight on the tandems.
right? Because you could only max out 34, but that means
34.
you must have a lot of weight on the back of the trailer.
Right.
So shift those pallets or move some stuff towards the front of the trailer because you got 29 here. You got another 5,000 pounds
Five.
to play with.
Right. Another one's 5,000 to play with.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's how most drivers, you'd be surprised that most drivers don't even know this. And they keep wondering why they keep going back and forth paying the extra money to go to a scale station. Some of them try to slide their tandems to distribute the weight. They'll shift it to the
Mm-hmm.
back. That's not going to solve the problem. Move those pallets. Go back to that facility and have them move some of them pallets. Either stack if you can stack the pallets, stack them up to get this weight. And you can only move two. Let's say each pallet was 2,000 pounds. Well, you only got to move two pallets because
That's it.
that's
At
4,000. That'll
least.
bring that to 34. Now to bring that to 33. So you'll be straight.
Yeah. Would
All right.
work.
So yeah, so I didn't want to harbor too much on that. Just kind of give you an idea of that. So back to what we're asking the shipper. Now we asked for weight, commodity, where's it picking up, where's it delivering to, right? What other things that you
Right.
think you should ask from the shipper in order to give them a good rate quote? What are some other things you think? So we asked for pickup and delivery location. We asked for the commodity. We asked for the weight. What about the equipment? What is it going on? What kind of equipment? Is it a dry van? Is it a flatbed? Is it a reefer? Is it a hot shot?
Right.
Is it a cargo van, sprinter van, box truck? You need to know these things because what's the point of sending a box truck carrier to a shipping facility and there's 26 pallets there? You can't get 26 pallets on a box truck. Now, if you double stack and the pallets are not, you can't stack the pallets.
Yeah. Some of them you can't.
So
You know.
you just wasted some time. So you got to get the right information from the customer so you can provide the right resources to complete the shipment, right?
Right.
Okay. And then later on you'll get some more information as well. But now let's get into the example, and this will be it for the now. I won't hold you guys too long. Um,
No, it's all right with me.
let's get into that one example. So let's say you get all of that from the shipper and you got a rate quote and they accepted it and they sent you a load tender. Remember your margin was 15%. So they sent
Right.
you a load tender for uh a shipment coming out of Catoosa, Oklahoma, which is like in the Tulsa market, and it's going to Enfield, North Carolina. You like, where the heck is these places? In the boondocks, right? So Catoosa, Oklahoma, going to Enfield, North Carolina, right?
Okay.
And they tendered it to you for, I don't know. Well, before we do that, let's look it up on the map. Let's let's look up the mileage on the map. Let's go to the screen here, and I'm back on
All
the
right.
screen. You guys see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so let's go to Google Maps or just Google, and let's say, just to get an idea, Catoosa, Oklahoma to Enfield, North Carolina. Okay, and it's 1,231 miles, 1,231.5 miles. Okay, right there on the map. See that? Boom. So Catoosa, Oklahoma, which is in the Tulsa, Oklahoma market, to the North Carolina, let's say the Charlotte market, or not even the Charlotte market. That's probably Wilmington or Raleigh, but it's going into North Carolina. So that's a 1,231 and a half mile or distance, right? So that's just to give you that example. Okay.
Right.
All right. So let's go back to the artwork.
Okay.
And Let's share the screen again, whiteboard. Go here. Where's the white? Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. All right. So, all right. So now that's
31 miles.
1,231 and a half miles, 1,231
Okay.
and a half miles, 31.5 miles.
0.5, right?
And they want it in a dry van, a DV dry van. And the
Mhm.
commodity is General Freight, GF, General Freight. And the weight is 38,000 pounds. This is all in the load tender. You wanted to, as a broker, they're going to give it to you maybe at, let's say they give it to you at an average of $2 a mile. And let's say that lane runs on an average of $2 a mile. Well, if that's the case, then what's $2 a mile times 1,231 and a half miles? You just do the math now. $2, 2 times 1231.5. So that's 2463. So they say that okay, we're going to give it to you for
Okay.
27. We're going to give it to you for 2,700 or the average 2,700, right? They'll give it to you for the
Okay.
2,700 or 20, I'm sorry, 2463 is what the lane runs at $2 a mile. Well, if you put your 15% on top of that, what is 15% of that?
15% of 23.
2463.
369.45. You just
369.
round it up to 370, or do you just,
You
it's 369.45.
right. So the 15% is 369.45. So now add 369.45 back to the 2463.
Yes. And that's 2832.45.
28.42.
32.45.
28.32.45. I'm sorry. So now this is where you do the rounding at. So when you give it to the shipper, I would quote it at 3,000. 3,000. So a nice round number.
Okay.
Okay. If you want to give it to
Okay.
a carrier, if you want to give it to a carrier at an average of $2 a mile, then you say $2 a mile times 1,231 and a half miles is 2463. You put 15% on top of that, that's your profit, 369 for a 2832.45 number, right? And then you quote the shipper at 3,000. And let's say you were awarded it at 3,000. Let's say they gave you the load tender at 3,000, right? Now, what's your initial profit for the 2463 was 369. What's 15% of
Right.
3,000? What's 15% of 3,000?
Right. It was
Go ahead. Go ahead. What was you saying?
15% of 3,000.
Yes, what's 15% of 3,000? Because that's what the shipper gave it to you for. Since you negotiated it up
450.
450. So instead of 369, your new profit margin at 15% is 450. Okay?
Okay.
You follow me? Is
Yeah,
there
450 on top of the 369.
no. 450 is your new profit margin at 15 because remember, so let's start back over. Let's circle back. Catoosa, Oklahoma to Enfield, North Carolina, that is a 1,231 and a half mile distance, right?
Right.
If you as a broker want to get a truck, let's say that lane moves on an average of, well, let me do this. Let me show it to you first. Let's go. Let's see what the average cents per mile is for that lane.
Yeah.
Instead of
It was
assuming
$2. It was
we, we,
$2
we were we
times
were
that.
we were just speculating, but let's go and actually look at a source that shows that. So I have a source that's called DAT trend lines, and it shows in real time what that lane on average paid because you want to make sure that you give a fair rate to the truck. for them to be motivated to move that freight. Does that make sense?
Right.
Right. So let's go to tools and resources, trend lines. Okay. And this is a dry van run, right? This equipment type for this load is a dry van. And it's coming out of Catoosa, Oklahoma, which is in the Midwest. So let's get the spot market rate for a dry van right here, van rates. And you guys have these, you should have this tool in your DAT subscription.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma right here. So the dry van spot market rate on average, these are average numbers, right? So an average number is a middle number. So you got the low end, the high end. This is the average or the median. It's $2.14. Okay. In right now, in real time. Because remember, Oklahoma is a Midwestern, is in the Midwest region. You follow me there? Oklahoma, Catoosa, Oklahoma is a Midwestern or a Midwest zone state. Yes or no?
So that's true.
Right? You guys with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So for the Midwest, the average cents per mile is, right, it says it right there, $2.14. Right?
14 cents. Right.
$2.14. So now let's go back to our whiteboard. So now we got realistic numbers. So let's go back to our whiteboard and get the
Okay.
That's in different regions.
Yeah.
right here. So I'm gonna start over. We got it. So we got a realistic number. So I'm gonna erase all of this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give it to you in real time. I'm gonna keep the Catoosa, Oklahoma, because we know what that is, right? And what else do we know? We know our margin is 15. What are the constants we know? What are the constant numbers? What are the constants that we know? We know that our constant rate is 15%, right? We know that. That's a,
Right.
that's a
Okay.
given. Okay. We know the cents per mile for this lane, Catoosa, Oklahoma to Enfield, North Carolina, is $2.14. We know that per mile, right?
Okay.
We just
Uh-huh.
looked, we just looked at trend lines, right? We just looked it up, right?
Right.
We know the distance is 1,231 and a half miles, right? So
Right.
we can get a starting point right here. We can say, well, if the truck drivers are asking on average for $2.14 per mile, and this lane is running at 1,231 and a half miles, then how much are they asking for? Well, we would just simply multiply 214 per mile times 1,231 and a half miles. So what is the truck drivers?
Right.
So what's that
Yeah.
math?
That's 26, 35, 41.
Okay, so 1231 point
26, 35, 41.
26, 35, 41. So
Right. Okay.
let's put that in red. So this is what on average the truck drivers are asking for. $2,635.41
Mm-hmm.
for that lane. Okay. So far, so good, right?
Yeah. A,
Now,
S,
a shipper is asking you to give them a quote. So now
Oh,
you got what the lane, what a truck driver wants from this is a spot market rate. On average,
right.
$2.14 for that number of miles, right?
spot
So
rate.
now you would add your 15%, or you would put your 15% on top of this number because this is what the truck wants. But now you got to put your margin on top of that. So what is 15% of 26, 35, 41?
395, 31.
Okay, 395. So here's your profit margin. 395. Let's say, yeah, $395.31.
Uh-huh.
That's your profit margin. So now, let me change the color. You see how we're doing this?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are getting it, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, when you give a quote to a shipper, you're going to include your 15% and you're going to include what you pay to the truck. How do you do that? You add these two together. So 395.31 plus 26.35.41 equals how much?
30, 30, and 72.
$3,030.72. That is the baseline.
Okay.
3,072 cents. Now, you're not going to give that to the shipper like that. You probably give them like 3,100, 3,200 at the most,
Okay.
right? But that's your baseline. That's what you can't, so you can't negotiate below this number because it includes your 15% margin and what the trucks get paid on average moving that lane at $2.14 per mile. Okay? 30, 30. So what you're going to give the shipper, you may quote them, let's say you won the load tender at 3,100.
Okay.
That's right, 3,100. Let me erase that a little bit. It's a little sloppy right here. Let me see. 3,100. Right? 3,100.
That's what you would quote to the shipper, right?
Yeah.
That's what you would quote to the shipper.
Right, 3,100.
3,100. So we got all of this.
Two
Remember, your profit margin, your in my pocket money is 395 starting out, right? 395,
Right,
30, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll put that in the big box. That's your 15,
395, 31.
that's your 15%.
Mm-hmm.
Got a load tender for 3,100. So now you know what the lane pays on average to the truck, which is 26.35.41. So let's say you get a carrier call you and say, hey man, can you do 2,700 or can you do 2,850 or whatever, right? Well, you got, how much do you have to play with? You got 3,100 to play with because you won the load tender at 3,100,
Mm.
right?
Right, right,
Do you see how we getting back to the other examples? You got to carry, you posted on the load board for, let's say you posted it for a little bit above 26.35.41. Let's say you posted it for 27,
Mm-hmm.
2,700 even, right? Let's say you posted, let me put this in red. Let's say you posted this on the load board for 2,700. Well, if you got 31 to play with at 27, you get a carrier call you and they get it, they want it for 27. Then what's the difference there? 27 from 31 is $400, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
You're going to add that to my in my pocket money, and now you're going to get 795.31, right?
Mm. Yeah.
400 plus 395 is that. What happens if a carrier calls you and they say, hey man, I see you got this load going from Catoosa, 38,000 pounds. That's a lot of weight, man. That's a lot of fuel. Fuel over in Catoosa, Oklahoma. You know, you got some carriers try to be slick, right? Oh man, diesel, man, that's like $4 over out there, man. I need a little bit more. Can you add a little bit more to the fuel surcharge? Help me compensate for fuel costs. Well, how much do you want, carrier? You freaking asshole. What do you want? Right? You see, you're gonna say, I want, can you do 2850? Well, yeah, I could do 2850 because it's still what?
Mm-hmm.
It's still below
Right.
the 3,100. So if he do it for 2850, right? Then you're gonna take, because remember your 3,100 is your play with money, right? Remember,
right,
you already got your 395, 31 in your pocket,
right,
right? So
right.
2850. So what's the difference between 2850 and 3,100?
250.
250. That's what you have left over for you. That's you. And you
Okay.
just simply add that to your 395.31.
Okay. Okay.
So how much is that? What's that? 645.31?
Yeah. 395. It's 250 plus 395. Yeah, 645,
Okay.
31.
So the
Yep.
point, the point,
645.70.
so the point with these exercises is to get you to understand the concepts. The numbers are going to be different, but I want you to
Mhm.
get the concepts because I can throw numbers all day. I just want you to understand how to work the numbers, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Understand the concepts. Once you get that, I can throw any numbers at you and you can figure that out, right? So that's the point of that exercise. You
Okay.
want to understand but you have to determine your constants. Your constants being your profit margin, your constant maybe being what's the cents per mile for that lane. Where do you go? What resources you look up to get those numbers? That cents per mile per lane. What's the number of miles in that
Mhm.
lane? We looked up in Google. Google's going to become your best friend because you're going to say, okay, what's it running for? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
with the shipper too, when you get pickup location and delivery locations, get the zip code to zip code. The zip code of the pickup facility and the zip code of the delivery facility, not the city, but the zip code of the facility. Because
Right,
cities are so
right,
large, like Houston, Texas, for example, that's huge. One side of town could be 50 miles on the other side of the town, right? So you want the
right,
zip code of the pickup facility and the zip code of the delivery facility to get an accurate mileage calculation. Okay. So when you're asking for information to do your quotes, hey man, what's the pickup location? What's the zip code of the pickup location? And what's the zip code of the delivery location? And that's all you have to ask. And they'll say, oh yeah, Catoosa, that's in 70935, Enfield, North Carolina. The delivery facility is that's in 24386. And then now you got the zip code to zip code. So
oh,
now you want to Google and just put 27815 to 78, whatever that zip code is, and it'll give you boom, it'll give you exact mileage, right? So
right,
you don't have to assume anymore. So you want to get it as close to as accurate as possible, right?
right.
So did this help? I want to make sure this helped.
Oh, yes. For me, it did, and I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
yeah. I'm just trying to keep my formulas together here.
Okay.
I see I had to give me a calc. I got to give me a calculator. 'Cause,
You're definitely going to get a calculator. You're going to learn math. It's going to take you back
yeah,
to high school, right?
yeah. I'm
So
just trying to do it in half. See, without the calculator, like half of this and half, and see, I need to speed up the process. I can't do
no, no,
that,
no, no, no. Take it. No,
Yeah.
no, no, no. Take your time. However long you need to do your numbers, take your time because you don't want to make mistakes with the numbers. So take your time. And
Right.
as you do it over and over again, the speed will come. Get it right the first time though. Take your time. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
don't rush through it. Definitely not. Don't rush through it. Take your time. And then as you do it again, as you do it over, just like you got good at riding a bike, got good at talking to people, got good at everything, it took practice. And you had to do it
Yeah.
your time starting out. Now certain things you can do secondhand. You don't even got to think about it. You can just do it, right? Like tying your shoes. You had to take your time when you was a
Yeah.
kid, but you can tie your shoes easy now. It's
Oh,
over,
yeah.
right? So
Right. Yeah,
it's,
that's right.
it's a universal concept, basically. Start off slow,
That's
take your
right.
time, repeat, and then it'll come in time. That's universal.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but I just want to make sure that you understand the methodology, the concepts. Your constant is your percentage, whether it's 10, 15, 20%, and then
Right.
your profit margin from that, what's all the numbers. So and then go from there. All right?
So again, I add my 15% to which number is this again that I add my 15% to? It's
Great question.
26.
Great question.
Uh-huh.
Let's do one more example to bring home the point. You guys are good. Got enough time to do one more example? I usually get
Yeah.
off at 8 o'clock or before, but we got 17 minutes. So we can do another example. That's not a problem.
Okay.
So let's do one more example. And I'm not going to help you at all. I
Okay.
want you to make the mistakes. You know why? Because
Okay.
mistakes are learning lessons,
Yes, they are.
right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
So
most
what I
definitely.
do, what I will ask is for information along the way. So I'm gonna give you a lane. Let's say Mount Jackson. Well, first of all, let's figure out what's our percentage. What's our profit margin as a broker?
15%. We'll
Okay,
start with that.
Right.
stick with 15%. Okay, that's good. 15%
Right.
profit margin. Okay. We have a dry van load at 38,000 pounds. Okay. So far, so good.
Yeah.
All right.
38,000
It's
pounds.
picking up in Mount Jackson, Virginia. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
and is delivering to Martins Ferry, Ohio. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, first thing we need is what? We need the
Mileage and then the gas.
we need the mileage, and then we need what is the cents per mile for a drive-in on average to the truck.
Right.
Okay.
So let's go. Let me switch it over. So let's go back to the other screen and go to our right here. You see the screen?
Mm-hmm.
You have drive-in national rates. Mount Jackson is in Virginia. So,
Right.
so that's in the southeastern region. So on average, and it's going to Ohio, but on average, the southeast pays $2.02 a mile.
Okay.
You always go with that margin for where it's coming from?
Yeah, the starting point is always the baseline, where it starts from.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you got to get fuel from where you're starting from as opposed to where you're ending up at, right?
Yeah, true indeed.
There you go. So your baseline, your starting point
Oh,
is
shoot.
your starting point is your origin, which is in this
Right.
case Mount Jackson. That's in Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Right.
So on average, it's $2.02 a mile. So remember that number. Now we're going to Google the distance. So
Okay.
let's go to trusty dusty Google. So we got to get some numbers, right? So we got to get Mount Jackson, Virginia to Martins Ferry, Ohio. Boom. And that is a 247-mile, 4 hours and 23 minutes.
47.4.
247.4. So, okay. So now we got those two constants, right? So let's go
Okay.
back to our whiteboard because you guys got them wrote down. I didn't write anything down, so I'm going to forget, but I'm going to ask you what they are so you can tell me, okay?
What was that again? The mileage?
Someone said it. I think it was 27.
247.4.
Okay, good. Someone wrote it down. Okay, good.
247.4?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we have so the distance is 247.4 miles, and the cents per mile on average to the truck was how much? $2.02, right?
Right.
Right.
$2.02 per mile.
Right.
All right.
Right.
We got our numbers, right?
Yes.
Right.
A carrier, if you want to get a carrier to move that load at $2.02 average at 247 per mile, then what are they looking to make? Well, $2.02 per mile times 247.4 miles. What is that number? How much is that?
Yeah.
499.75.
All right, so two, and I'm doing it in the background.
299. Yeah, 499.75, something, right?
Yep,
Right.
499.75. So let's just round up. Let's say 500. Is you guys good with that?
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, we're good with
Yeah.
that. We're gonna say 500.
Okay.
All right. Now, um,
15%, right?
right. Shipper asked you to give a quote. You got it on. You gave a quote based off of the averages, not the low end, not the high end, but the average. Because most carriers take loads on the average rates, not the low end rates, not the high end rates. They don't take them on the low end rates because I'll give you the reasons why. They don't take them on the low end rates because they're losing money. They don't take them on the high end rates because they're losing money because they won't get the load because they're charging too much. So they take them on the average because most people take loads on the average rates. You guys follow that?
Mm-hmm.
The low end,
Yeah.
they're not making money because it's too low for them to make. They can't maximize their profit margin, their bottom line. They're losing money. Fuel, truck payments, trailer payments, all types of nonsense. They run the risk of losing the load as they try to get it at the high rate because they're charging too much to move it. So they may not get it. So that's why they go towards the average. Does that make sense?
Yep. Got it.
Yeah. To move, like you said, to move a load like this is they're losing money on it, right?
If they try to take it at the high end, yes. They're not gonna get it if they take it at the high end. They may get it at the low end, but they're gonna lose more money than the broker is. You're gonna make if you get a carrier to move this at $400 instead of 500, what it pays on average, then you're gonna make more of a profit margin, and they're gonna lose money. That's not your fault.
Right.
right? You're
Right.
giving it to them on the average. Now, if that carrier is dumb enough taking it for 400, then that's on them. But you know,
Yeah, that's true.
okay. So anyway, so we got our average rate to the truck at $2.02 a mile for 247.4 miles is $500. We add
Right.
our profit margin. So what's our in-pocket money? What is 15% of 500?
75.
75 bucks.
Right.
Okay.
15% of 500?
Yep, $75. Go ahead and do it. I'll let you do it. Take your time, brother. Take your time.
Okay. Yeah, I got finally finally got some I can do some calculate with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 75.
So 75 is our in-pocket money. That's our 15% profit margin. So now you add 75 to 500 and you get obviously 575, right?
Right.
What would you quote to the shipper? You wouldn't quote 575. You may quote 600, maybe
Yeah. 625.
625, maybe even 650 if you bold, right? If you're bold enough to quote.
Okay.
But the most, let's say 625. Let's say you win it, that low tender at 625. Ding,
Hmm.
ding, ding, 625. Okay, so now that's your play with, right? Now you
Hmm.
on average, it moves at 500, right? And you
Right.
got 75 in your pocket. So now you posted on a low board. Let's say you posted it for you got 625 to play with. It moves on average at 500. Let's say you posted it for 550 on a low board. You want to give a little extra money, right? 'Cause
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you got 625 to play with anyway. You posted it on a low board for 550, right? Carrier's going to see that. They say, well, man, it moves on average at 500. They're giving an extra $50. That's not a problem. Okay. So you get a call from a carrier say, yeah, I'll take it for 550. So you onboard that carrier, get them set up with your brokerage, get all the necessary paperwork, get them approved. You send them a rate confirmation for 550. So what's the difference between 550 and 625? What's that difference right there?
75.
75, right? So you got an extra 75 left over after you paid the truck 550 on a 625 low tender. You already had 75 in your pocket. So how much more now? You got 75 plus another 75. So now you're at a buck 50
Right.
just made. You get the
Okay.
concept now? You understand the concept?
You got that.
Again, you can do the numbers, put the number. You got to get your constant information first before you be able to do everything else. You got to get what's your profit margin? What's the
Hmm.
distance on that lane, the equipment type, the weight, and all this stuff? What's the average per mile for that lane? You can go to trend lines, and what's the distance? And then from there, it's just simple math.
Okay.
You understand?
I got
Yeah,
that.
you said
Say
it's
again.
15% off of the 500 is 75,
That's
right?
correct, right? So you
5
then
cent.
you then you add then you add that 75 back to the 500 because you got to give a quote to the shipper.
Right.
So that's 500 plus the 75, so that's 575.
Right.
Because remember, the 500 was the average amount that's being paid to the truck, running it at $2.02
Right.
on average at 247.4 miles.
Right.
It was
Right.
actually 499.78, but we just rounded up to 500. We were being generous.
Rounded up, yeah, rounded up to 500. So after you put your 75 with that 500, but you quote the shipper 625.
Right. We got greedy. We could have said 600. We said 625. He actually gave it to us at 625.
Right.
We won
Now,
that low tender at 625. So now that's our play with money.
right.
25, so we can get a truck motivated to move it. Well,
So,
on average, trucks move it at 500 because we already saw that on the loads.
right. That's
So we
500. Right.
we posted it for an extra $50 to get a truck to call us quicker so we can get this shipment out of here. Right. We get the
Right.
shipment
So
moved. So
you quoted it at, you
550.
posted it at, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We quoted it. We posted it on the low board for 550. If we posted it for
550.
500,
Right.
everybody's posting it for 500. Every broker saying because every broker knows what it moves for on the average. So every broker's going to compete with each other down. They're going to compete for trucks down at the bottom at 500. Why not put it for 550 and get somebody to say, "Oh man, this is an extra 50 bucks. Let me call this broker."
That's right. Go for it.
And then they call you and you say, "Okay, you get it." So now you subtract 550 from your play with money, 625, which is what was tendered to you by the shipper, and
Right.
you got $75 left over.
Again, like you said, you add that on to what you got from the
You
beginning.
add that on to your 75 in pocket money and you got 150.
Right.
And that's just one shipment. Let's say you move 10 shipments a
Right.
week for that. This is one customer. One shipment, one customer. Let's say that one customer gave you 10 shipments for the week and they all move like that. So now that's 150 times 10, that's 1,500 for the
That's
week
1,500. Right.
for that one customer. Now let's say you got five customers and you're managing that now. You got a TMS system, you got broker agents helping you manage all these shipments for your customers. One agent managed this one account, this one customer with the 10 shipments. Another agent managed this other account for this other customers with 15 shipments. You got another
Right.
agent managing the other. You see what I'm saying? So now
Yeah.
you're doing what's called you're scaling. You're scaling your business. You're growing it. Scale, right?
Right.
So, but that comes in time. Get the basic process down first, and then add to it accordingly. Okay.
You're right. You got it.
All right, guys. Let me erase this. I think that's enough for one. Even I don't want to blow your brains out, but
No, this is necessary. I'm sorry I keep asking the questions over and over again.
that's
How
quite all
you
right.
learn?
That's how you learn. The
Yeah,
only
thank
dumb
you.
listen, the only dumb question is the one that's not asked.
Amen.
So
Yes, indeed. Amen to
ask
that.
all the questions you. Yeah, if I can't answer a question, I must not be a good instructor. So let me make sure
No,
that I get all
you
your
you
questions answered, and we
and
go.
thank you for your patience, man. I really do.
Uh,
And yours, miss. Yours too, miss. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I really understood that.
Yeah.
You've been blowing my brain though with these sessions.
so I'll tell you what. Um, the next time we meet, let me check the calendar. I'm gonna give you a home. I'm gonna give you guys some homework assignments.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
That way you have something for me when we come back. So let's go. Let me go to the
Okay.
and it just helps me reinforce that you understood and learned this. So our next mentorship,
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk about something else, but I want to review what we talked about tonight. So I'll make sure that I'm convinced that you understand this. So now with every shipper you get now, you'll be able to master this. Like, look, yeah, go on. I can give you what you want. I quote anything for you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so our next one is the 21st, which is 2 weeks from today. But prior to, I mean, you can call me, text me, anything if you have any questions, of course. But our next Zoom mentorship will be the 21st, right? So in the
Okay.
meantime, let me give you a homework assignment. And it's going to be three. Um, oh, this is going to be crazy. Well, no, it's not. I don't want to scare you. I'm sorry. Um, because we've done these examples, and I may post this video. I'm going to send this video to you guys to your emails, and
Mm-hmm.
you'll have it to watch. So that'll help you review it. That's even.
Mm-hmm.
So homework, and even people on the YouTube channel is listening in, they can do it too. So homework number one. So our constant is we're going to go off of 15% broker margin,
Mm-hmm.
profit margin. Okay. That's the profit margin.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We're going to do three examples. Okay. First example is, and we're going to do it for the three major equipment types. The first one's going to be a dry van. The second one's going to be a flatbed. And the third one's going to be a reefer unit. Okay.
Okay.
Refrigerated unit. So the first one, dry van. Pick up in my neighborhood. We're going to pick up in Norfolk, Virginia, going to Detroit, Michigan, Detroit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we want to go from the southeast to the Midwest, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The next one we're going to get is um flatbed. Flatbeds usually run good in the southeast. We're going to pick it up from New Orleans NOLA, New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm just abbreviating. But
Right.
you guys follow that, NOLA. They call NOLA New
Mm-hmm.
Orleans, right?
Yep.
Nolans.
Uh,
Nolans.
so
You know
NOLA is
it.
NOLA,
You
New
know it.
Orleans, Louisiana. So
Right.
we're going
Nolans.
to um, Houston. Let's go to Houston. Houston, Texas.
Okay.
Okay. So right under the board. And then for a reefers jump around refrigerated runs good in the Midwest. Let's go to Wisconsin. We're going to pick up some cheese at a shipper in Wisconsin. So we're going to go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and let's take it to a distribution center in what can we take it at? Let's see. We want to go down. Let's go far. Let's go to Tallahassee, Florida. Okay.
All right.
Tallahassee. I think it's two S's, but that's fine. Tallahassee, Florida. Right. But you get the point,
Hmm.
right? You get the point. So I'll
Yep.
I'll
Go
pause
ahead.
right here while you guys write it down. I don't want to move too fast. So the first one, so what I need is obviously, well, some of you don't have access to the trend line, so you don't know the average rates. So I will have to get that to you. So let me get that to you before we get off then.
Yeah, I
Okay.
see that the trend line. What are there like five different regions?
There's the Northeast, the Southeast, the Midwest, the Southwest, and in the Far West. Those are the regions. And each region has a certain number of states in the region. Let me show you that on the screen. Okay.
Right.
So, and this is in my dispatcher portal. I think it's in the broker portal too. But you guys are not broker students. You guys are just mentor or mentees, I should say. Uh,
Yeah, need it.
so
Right.
trend lines. Yeah, so my back office processes are automated. So we did a drive-in first, right? You guys wrote down where
Mhm.
they're going, right? So I'm gonna give you the drive-in. So right,
Yep.
so right next to the drive-in, what was it? Let's see, drive-in rates. What was it picking up in Norfolk, Virginia?
Norfolk going to Detroit.
Okay, so Norfolk is coming out of the southeast region. So if you look at the screen for a drive-in, and by the way, they're color coded. So when I go to the reefer and the flatbed, it's going to be a different color on the screen. Okay. So
Hmm.
So picking up in Norfolk and Virginia, so right next to for your homework, right next to the next to Norfolk to Detroit, right, the cents per mile is $2.02 per mile.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. So I'm giving you your constant number so you'll be able to know. Okay. And remember, you just asked what's the region. So here's the Northeast, Mr. Alexander, Northeast at a dollar.
Right.
Northeast, Southeast, Midwest, Southwest, and West. Okay, so what's number two? What's the pickup and delivery location for number two? Where's it going picking up from?
New Orleans to Houston.
And what equipment
Hmm.
type was it?
Flatbed.
Okay,
Flatbed.
so we're gonna go drop down here and choose a flatbed rate, flatbed, and it's gonna be a different color,
Mhm.
right? See that? And it's picking up New Orleans, Louisiana, which is I think right here.
Right.
So that's $2.06. No, wait a minute. New Orleans is $2.69 a mile. Is that right? Let's see. We got Florida, we got Georgia, we got Alabama, Mississippi. I think New
No, New
Orleans.
Orleans 266.
Yeah, because New Orleans is next
It's
to
that little boot at the bottom.
yeah, it's next to Texas, right?
Right.
So that's a short distance. But so 266 per mile. Put
Louisiana.
that
Yeah,
down.
266.
That's
Okay.
a,
Okay.
that's a number two. And then for the reefer, right? The third example was a reefer unit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And where was that picking up in?
Wisconsin, Milwaukee,
Milwaukee.
and
Okay.
going to Florida, Tallahassee.
Okay, so we're gonna put reefer rates. It's gonna be blue because the reefer ice refrigeration blue. It's gonna be blue. So it's an indicator, right? So Milwaukee's in the Midwest, so the Midwest starting point is $2.56 a mile. So now you have your cents per mile numbers. So your homework assignment is to get the distance for those, multiply them by the cents per mile to get your baseline rate that's going to be paid to the carrier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Add your 15% to that, multiply your 15% times that, and that'll be your in-pocket money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then add that back to the rate to get your total, and then give a quote to the shipper. You can round up to the nearest whole number, and that'll be your play with money. You follow what I'm saying, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
2, 3.
And then when we come back, I want to see the numbers.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, we good?
We good.
All righty. I think this was a good lesson tonight.
It was. I did. And I'll see you.
Yeah, it was definitely. We got some good food here.
All right.
Mhm.
All right,
Oh,
guys. I will
I'll
have a
see you guys next in on the
two-week.
21st, two
On the
weeks.
21st.
If you have any questions prior to that, send me an email, text me, call, we'll go from there. Okay. But other than that, I think you guys should be okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
thank
you.
you very much. Appreciate it.
All right,
Have
guys.
a-
Enjoy your weekend.
You too.
Same
Bye-bye.
to you.
All
Take
right.
care.